Hey friends, Christy over at Little Roots Ranch, and today I want to talk about January potatoes. Now, I will give you a warning, this is an experiment and not necessarily something I have experience with, so it may be a great idea, it may not be a great idea. But basically, I planted 50 feet of potatoes a couple days ago, and I wanted to share with you guys what I did and what was the reasoning behind it. So historically, I've always planted potatoes, I think the end of March or maybe early May. I'd have to check my crop plans or so, but I believe that's about the time I plant them. But I wanted to, first of all, this beginning of, also, hey, I'm camouflage, I blend in. Sorry, but I can see myself in the, whatever. Okay, and so anyways, how I came to think about this was when I had planted my Hackeri turnips a couple years ago, just like, I don't know, 10 beds over, I was worried about wireworm. And so my daughter was cutting up potatoes and there was just little like slivers or whatever. And I stole a few of those and I buried them so that the wireworms would come eat out of them, and then I would pull them out and then I could catch them. Well, in true me fashion, being exceptionally busy, I never got around to checking the trap and clearing the trap. So basically, and I didn't think potatoes would grow, because when I say they were like thin, like they were like peelings, like I didn't think that that would grow a potato ever. Well, fast forward a couple months and I recognized the distinct look of potato leaves in a non-potato area. And I was like, how's that? Like, how's that working out, you know? And I was like, oh, that was that trap I set that I never gave a second mind to. And then for years, every year, the potatoes come back. So those potatoes have overwintered, unprotected, no straw or hay or wool or anything at all. And they were the world's smallest slice of potato. And so it got me thinking, and especially this January, 2023, it's been, people are calling it a fall spring. It's been warmer than normal. I know that January can sometimes be really nice, but I mean, yesterday it was like 57 degrees. Well, anyways, so what I did was I decided to go all in and try an experiment. So these are, that I have this whole row right there. It's a little wonky, but it's a 50-foot row. And you'll notice it has hay and composted horse manure on it, and I'll get to that and exactly how I do my no-till, no-dig potatoes. But I decided to give it a try. Now I'm gonna have 3 rows of potatoes, and I haven't done my other ones yet. I think I might give it a couple weeks and do another one, and then maybe a month and do the last one, because I'm not entirely sure. But those other potatoes have made it year after year, and actually I've got a pot that I've had potatoes come back every single year for 5 years or something. So I think it's gonna work, but I just wanted to let you guys know. Now, switching gears to how I do my no-dig potatoes, and I'll be honest with you, I think this is the best way to do potatoes in the world. I've done potatoes several different ways. Originally, I did grow them in either grow bags or big pots, and originally what I used were laundry baskets with the holes, and I would put paper bags lining the outside, and as the potatoes would grow up, I would add more like compost or topsoil, whatever. So that was what I first grew in, and then I moved to the grow bags or whatever, and they were a little bit larger. And then when I got to the farm, the very first year I did the same way I did here, but I had an area that was semi-wild, so not really weeded, but not totally out of control. I clipped the grass as low as it'll go, and I just set the potatoes on the surface of, like on top of the super mowed down grass. And I did run sheep through there like not that long prior, so there were some like bald patches. It wasn't like a front yard grass, it was like intermittent grass, I guess. And so I just put the potatoes every 12 inches, and then I covered with straw, and I put some ash from our fire pit, which I only burn wood in there. and those did fabulous. And so the following year, which was last year, what I wanted to do to recreate that, but using compost, so I put all of my potatoes down and I covered with a generous helping of compost. Well, I didn't think that through because if you grow in compost, you know that also it's like pouring down rain. So if you can hear the rain, I apologize. But one thing about compost is that it continues to compost. So like if you start with a raised bed and fill it all the way to the top with compost, by the end of summer, you're going to be down like an inch or 2 or 3 or 5, like depending on how well composted your compost was. And so that's what happened with my potatoes this last year. It wasn't all of them, but a lot of the potatoes that I didn't get really like covered up or whatever, I was like steam coming off of my rows. But all the ones that I didn't get covered like really, really well, the compost actually went down, and then you were seeing where the potatoes were sticking out. And if you don't know, you cannot eat, potatoes are poisonous if they're exposed to the sunlight for an extended period of time. And so that's what happened to me. So I was bummed because I lost about 40% of my potatoes because I didn't want to risk it, and especially because I sell. And so I was like, and so I lost a lot of my potatoes. So this year I'm going back to my original way and enhancing a little bit. So this is one of the rows. Last year I think I grew sunflowers and lettuce and volunteer cherry tomatoes in this row. But so I went through and I cleared the bed of just like the dead weeds and stuff, because I leave that. You can see my other beds are all dirty or what. I leave those till the spring or until I need them. And so I went through and I cleared the bed, which I've done on the other two. I don't know if you can see that. And I put the potatoes, this is my people garden in the front. So it's 30-inch beds, and I've got 2-foot beds in the back, but well, two of them to make 4-foot beds. But these are 30 inches up here. And I did 2 rows of potatoes, spaced 12 inches apart, going all the way down. And then I covered them with composted horse manure, and then covered that with hay, and then covered it again with thick layer of hay, like, I don't know, 6 inches. I plan to add a little more once they start popping out. And then I covered again, as you can see, that dark area that runs right through the middle all the way through there. That's additional composted horse manure, and I use that for weight. Now that it's raining, which we didn't have much rain last week, but now that it's raining, it'll wet the hay and have it hold. But I get a lot of winds ripping off the fields to my south, and so I need something to hold on, because obviously I don't want my little potatoes to be bare, and I don't want them to be ruined by the sun. And that's how I do it. Like I said, I'll put one more layer as they start to grow up. I'll put one more layer of hay down and then secure it with something, but that's gonna be it. And the beauty of this method is that when you're ready to harvest, you just grab like I usually wait till the foliage is dying back, but you can literally like lift it out, because the straw or the hay isn't like soil where it like gets rough, or like the clay, or where it holds on to the potatoes. And honestly, it's so easy. You literally just pull them out and they're all dangling, and you pull them off and put them in your bucket. For me, hands down, the best way to grow potatoes. If you have a different way of growing potatoes that you really love, share it with me. I love always experimenting and stuff like that. And which brings us to this video today. Obviously, this is the earliest I've ever had potatoes in the ground. And I'm not saying it's gonna work, and I'm not saying it's not gonna work, but I'll bring you guys along, with updates down the road and stuff like that. But yeah, I wanted to share. So this is my potato field. If you have any questions on growing potatoes, or any tips for potatoes for either me or the other viewers or anything like that, share those. We're all community, and that's what I love about Facebook or YouTube, sorry. And also a Facebook page, of course, and Instagram. But anyways, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, and happy gardening, and let me know if you try and do early potatoes. Bye.